Now that we are done with this simple unicellular organism, now we will be stressing on the complex multicellular organism like human beings. Now, human beings also have Holozoic nutrition, and it has a complex digestive system which helps in the process of the digestion, attaining nutrition. So firstly, we are going to understand that what are the parts of the digestive system. Digestive system has basically two parts. One is called the alimentary canal. The second is called the digestive glands. What is the alimentary canal? We will be discussing now with different parts. And firstly, you have to know that the aim of this digestive system is to break down. Break down what? Break down the three important nutrients that are present in the diet that we take in. What are they? Carbohydrate, protein, and fat. Now, carbohydrate, for it to get absorbed, has to be broken down into glucose. Protein has to be broken down into amino acid, and third, fat has to be broken down into fatty acid and glycerol. So this whole process takes place at different parts of the digestive system. Come, let's have a look at it. So as I was telling you that the digestive system is made up of two different parts. One is the alimentary canal, the other is the digestive glands. Now, what is the alimentary canal made up of? You see, from here starts the buccal cavity. Second part of the alimentary canal is the esophagus. Comes here, forms the stomach. Then the small intestine. You can see that's the longest part of the alimentary canal. Then comes the large intestine, and from the large intestine, this is the colon, and at the last part is the anus. From the anus, things get digested. Now, appendix is also a part of the large intestine, but this is basically a vestigial organ. That means at one point of time it had some work in the body, but nowadays it has no work in the body. So, but it has still stayed on and hence called vestigial organ. So, this is our alimentary canal. Now, what are our digestive glands? The first digestive gland that is present is in the mouth. It's called the salivary gland. Next comes our second and the largest gland of the body. That is the liver. What is this? This is a diaphragm which separates the abdominal cavity and the chest cavity. Next, after the liver comes our third digestive gland, that is pancreas. Okay, you can see the pancreas, this one. Yes, and this is how our digestive system looks like, comprising of digestive glands as well as alimentary canal. So first step, that is ingestion. This ingestion takes place in the mouth, of course, and with the help of hands we take in the food, and that's how ingestion takes place. Now, digestion starts from the mouth only. How? Our teeth is there, and those teeth break up the food into small pieces and chew it and grind it. So that is one type of digestion known as the physical digestion. Next, of course, starts our chemical digestion, wherein the food has to be broken down into simpler particles by the help of chemicals. You see, our salivary glands, that our first digestive gland produces a watery liquid called saliva, which helps to digest the carbohydrate into simple sugar. So you see, this has an enzyme called salivary amylase and or ptyalin, which actually starts the process of chemical digestion in the mouth itself, and carbohydrate has started breaking in the mouth itself. Also, our tongue helps in mixing the food, and finally mouth digestion is complete. Next we come to esophagus. Esophagus is also known as the food pipe, and there is no digestion that takes place in esophagus. Only the food will move from the mouth to the stomach by certain movements called the peristaltic movement. What is peristalsis? The alternate contraction and relaxation. Because of the contraction and relaxation, slowly the food will move down from the mouth to the stomach. Finally, they come to stomach. Now the stomach is a J-shaped organ present on the left side of the abdomen. It has 3 tubular glands and it secretes gastric juice. Now what are the gastric juice constituents? It is hydrochloric acid, pepsin and mucus. Now what does hydrochloric acid do? Hydrochloric acid basically creates an acidic medium, and that acidic medium helps to activate this enzyme called pepsin. Initially it was inactivated, now it has become activated, and this pepsin starts the protein digestion in the stomach. Okay, now the protein digestion has begun. The mucus that is there helps to protect the stomach against its own secretion of hydrochloric acid, or else the walls would have got digested if the mucus was not present. So the food is finally partially digested and moves to the stomach, the small intestine. Now you understand, now that the food has been subjected to hydrochloric acid, the food has become acidic in nature. So from the stomach it moves to the small intestine. This food is known as the chyme, acidic chyme. Okay, so the small intestine is about 6.5 meters and it is the largest part of the alimentary canal. The small intestine is very narrow and it is present as coils. Okay, it is in this small intestine that the human beings complete their digestion. See, carbohydrate and protein digestion has already begun in the mouth and stomach. Now the fat digestion will start and the carbohydrate and protein digestion will get completed. Now the small intestine receives secretions from 2 other digestive glands that I've already discussed, that is liver and pancreas. Now liver secretes a secretion called bile. Bile is a yellowish green color liquid, and basically bile is made in the liver and stored in the gallbladder. You must have seen the gallbladder initially. The gallbladder is present somewhere here. Yes, so here is the gallbladder and this is the liver. So it is, the bile juice is made in the liver and stored in the gallbladder. Okay, now in this, what happens, what does the bile do? Now firstly, I have already told you the food that is there is acidic now, right? So it has to be neutralized or else it will burn the whole alimentary system. So what will it do? The bile gives a alkaline medium wherein the food is basically neutralized, and also bile helps to break down fat particles and make them into small globules, and this process is known as emulsification of fat. After this, what happens? Pancreas secretes pancreatic juices like pancreatic amylase is there, which further breaks down starch, and trypsin for digesting proteins. Lipase is there for further breaking down the emulsified fat. So starch is breaking down, protein is breaking down, and emulsified fat is also breaking down. Now the walls of the small intestine contains small glands which secrete intestinal juices, and the enzymes present in it finally converts the protein into amino acid, what I have already told you, the fat, the complex carbohydrates into glucose, and fats into fatty acid and glycerol. And finally what happens is the whole digestion is completed and water is digested. Water is digested along with the food, and now is the time for absorption to take place. Now absorption also starts in the small intestine, wherein there are some finger-like projections. You see this diagram I have made. Now this finger-like projections, as you can see this finger-like projection. What is the function of this? Is called villi plural and villus singular. So what does this do? Basically this helps to increase the surface area for absorption to take place. You see, if it was a flat surface, very less absorption would have taken place, but since these are like up and down, some elevations and depressions are there, more amount of absorption can take place, and hence villus helps in to provide more surface area, increased surface area for absorption to take place. Finally, after absorption has taken place, the food has been passed on to the blood, and finally it will go to the body cells for it to get oxidized in the presence of oxygen. That process is known as respiration. So let's come back to nutrition again. So once it reaches, the blood carries it to the different parts of the cell. It is utilized to give energy. Carbohydrate will give energy. The protein will build up new tissues and will help in repair. And fat will get stored under the skin as adipose tissue. And finally, the unabsorbed food is sent to the large intestine, where from the food the water is absorbed, the rest of the water, and finally the rest of the material is removed from the body via the anus, and this exit is controlled by the anal sphincter, which opens and closes for it to regulate out the feces, and this process is known as defecation. This is how nutrition takes place in animals, in heterotrophs. I hope you have understood this. If there's any doubt, please feel free to contact me. Thank you.